Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And we'll wait for a few to say hello. Good morning to, who's number one? Kevin, how are you? Rosalinda, Niagara Falls, Jen, Cape Breton, and Nativity, our dear faithful, Francis Marie, and Mike from Norland, good morning. Yvonne, how are you? Nice to have you on. Rosa, Moria, Anne, Moncton, New Brunswick, Nick from our staff, Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Natalia from Tirana, Frida, good morning. Jordan, West Tennessee, or what, Oklahoma? And Nicole, good morning. William from Markham, Jeanette from our staff, Anne, how are ya? Brandy, another Brandy from Brantford, not our Brandy. Fran from Orangeville, Cecilia, Mary Jane, I know where you're from, Mary Jane, Connecticut. Wendy, Markham. Lori Lee, Ventura, California. Chantal, Ottawa. Jeanette, bonjour. Fran from Valcarin. Leela, minus 30 in Burner. Holy moly, Denise, good morning. Kelly, London, Dorothy, Rose, how are you? Fort Lauderdale. Maria, Catherine, Parksville, British Columbia. Margaret, Lakelet, Jane, Donna, Bell Valley. Karen, Sue, St. Marie. Alma, minus 24 in Sturgeon. Ooh, Bill, Debbie, Frosty Espanola, Susan, Mary from Norwich, Donna, Windsor, Newfoundland, Grand Falls, yes, Lisa Marie, Linda, I love all those Lindas, Pennsylvania, good morning, Sandy, Perry Sound, Brahim, there's my friend from Portland, Oregon, Wanda from Virginia, Mara from Windsor, Sandy, Vancouver, Washington, Catherine, Alberta, Sharon, minus 25 in Wyoming, Jerry, Hatley, Quebec, Lise, minus 32 in Sudbury, Deb from Sturgeon, Yalao, bonjour, Sue, good morning, St. Petersburg, Florida, Rita, and Deb, Nova Scotia. Okay, guys, let's get going, okay? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Emmy from French River, beautiful. Ginny from Gander. And Sharon, Sylvie, how are you? Okay, 3 bad news studies. Okay, today's Bad News Tuesday. Maybe we'll have a day like that every once in a while. Okay? Now, not necessarily bad news for you guys, because you guys are smart. But these 3 studies, okay, let me get to the first one. Bad news for statin drugs. You know what statin drugs are? Of course you do. They are cholesterol-lowering medication. The number 1 selling drug of all time in terms of revenue, okay, is what? Lipitor. Right? If I was to give you an exam, and that would probably be a question I would ask on an exam. What's the number 1 selling drug of all time? It's a statin drug called Lipitor. Statin drugs are famous for lowering cholesterol. Very specific though. statin drugs lower LDL cholesterol, okay? So look, I don't want to get into the weeds too much. I've been saying this for as long as you have known me, but way before that. Remember, I had a radio show for 20 years, and whenever I wrote any books or pontificated on cholesterol, I always said cholesterol, in my opinion, was this whole idea of cholesterol causing heart disease was a scam. Okay? It was just based on poor data. It was based on bad science. And I say it, and I say it, and I say it. Now, here's a study that says this. Okay? Bad news for statins. That's the headline. Okay? Statin drugs lower LDL. Okay. That's what they meant to do. That's why they made LDL the boogeyman of cholesterol. Okay? And here's what it does, okay? When you lower LDL with statin drugs, here's the bad news. It increases insulin resistance. You lower LDL, according to this study, yay, I lowered my LDL. So what? Now you have insulin resistance. Is that good for you? Absolutely not. It puts you in metabolic syndrome. It puts you in the 93% of people that have metabolic syndrome. Here's what it says. It puts you into a pre-diabetic condition. It elevates your insulin resistance. And listen, Lindas out there, it lowers your HDL. It increases your triglycerides. Holy moly. Why would that be good for you? How can a statin drug be good for you if it puts you into insulin resistance? It elevates your triglycerides. It lowers your HDL. Now, why is HDL so significant? Okay, again, this would be a test on a nutrition degree. Okay? Brought to you by the Martin Clinic. What would I ask you? Why is it important to have high HDL? You guys know the answer to this. Let me reinforce it. Because your HDL are like FedEx trucks, Canada Post, US Post, Amazon trucks on the highways and byways of your blood vessels. And what they do is they take triglycerides, those fat balls. Okay? You're always going to have triglycerides in your blood. You want them. You just don't want lots of them. But what HDL does specifically, it takes triglycerides. It transports them. It hooks their wagon to them and transports them back to the liver so they can be metabolized. Okay? That's really important, guys. It's very, 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 very important for your heart and cardiovascular disease. Okay? So, bad news for statin drugs. Dr. Martin, I got low cholesterol. Isn't that good? No, it's not good. It was based on faulty science. It was propagated by the pharmaceutical industry. And, they've done some good things, but this wasn't a good thing. They didn't even make a dent in heart disease. And we got to push back because, like I said, this is years ago, but even in Parliament, in the United Kingdom, they actually thought about it. Maybe we should put those statin drugs right in drinking water, just so we keep cholesterol low. Guys, if you got in your premise, you start off with a faulty premise, it's not good. And again, I'm not even confident, even a bit. I'm a realist. I know that I am not going to change the world. I'm not. I'm not powerful enough. I don't have enough. I thank God for you guys every day. I thank God for my audience every day. I am more than thrilled. When Tony Jr. said, "Dad, we're getting out of the radio business into the podcast business." What? I had a very popular radio show. He said, "Dad, you're going to be able to get to so many more people." And we found that out, about 50,000 a week. And, millions of viewers of our podcast. We thank God for that. I thank you for that. And so I'm aiming at you guys. And look, all I'm trying to do is show you how your body works. How can cholesterol be bad for you? How can it be bad? Your body, God don't trust you. You only have to provide 15%. Your body produces 75% of your cholesterol. Every cell in your body is made up of cholesterol. Your brain's made up of cholesterol. Everything. Cholesterol is it's one of the building blocks of life, for heaven's sakes. And they made it a boogeyman. And again, if you wanted to do it, go door to door, knock on the door in your neighborhood and says, "What causes heart disease?" And people will put their hand up and say, "Cholesterol?" That's how pervasive, how indoctrinated, how they took. Listen, if you had medical books in the 1960s and the 1970s, I'm telling you, they never talk about cholesterol. They talk about triglycerides being bad for you, but not cholesterol. Now it's all changed. And doctors are trained in medical school. Cholesterol, boogeyman. Cholesterol, bad guy. And specifically, LDL, low density lipoprotein. It's a carrier, guys. And here's what the studies are saying. Lower your LDL. Whoopee. Nope. Your insulin goes up. Your insulin resistance goes up. Your triglycerides go up. And your HDL, that main carrier, goes down. It's just the opposite of what should happen. It's the opposite of what's good for you. And I know. Like I said, I'm not optimistic. But you guys get the memo. Get the memo? Good. Okay. That was a bad news study for statins. Here's another one. as I look at my notes, bad news on antidepressants. You want to talk about? Here we go. Statin drugs, extremely popular. I brought to you guys some statistics. I'd have to go back and look at it. In Canada last year, or it might have been 2021, or I can't remember if it was 2021 or actually 2022, 40 million prescriptions of antidepressants in Canada alone. In the United States, it was over 300 million prescriptions for antidepressants, SSRIs. Okay? And here's the bad news. Okay? Bad news on antidepressants. It makes antidepressants, which are so prevalent in our society today, make antibiotic resistance worse. So someone who is on an antidepressant, they found out that it makes resistance to antibiotics even worse. Isn't that crazy? So that's dangerous. What if you need an antibiotic? Right? To save your life. Why do you think when you go to the hospitals today, one of the things that happens in the hospital is so dangerous? It's called C, with a C, not S-E-E, but C, difficile. Okay? So difficult. Because what happens is that antibiotics, okay, they kill bacteria. Okay? You got cellulitis, you need an antibiotic. You've been in a car accident and you're getting major surgery, antibiotics will save your life. Okay? But they're finding out that, well, we know this already, that antibiotics, because they're overused, okay, they're overused in our world. Doctors didn't get the memo. Stop using them if they're not needed. And they didn't get the memo on what I've been teaching you guys for the last few years. You take an antibiotic only as you have symptoms. And really the research is very conclusive. You stop taking the antibiotic. You don't finish out the course. Why? Why have I said that to you? Why is research bearing that out? Because what happens, you now develop resistance. It's the bugs. They develop a coating. They've proven this, guys. They develop a coating, like a ceramic coating. Now the antibiotic can't kill it anymore. And you get into a hospital situation or whatever, and it's very dangerous because there's all these bacteria that have developed a coating, and now antibiotics don't work. They're resistant. This is why I'm so big, guys, on probiotics. I'm big on that. Okay? Why? Because those friendly bacteria, they're on your side. They do a lot of wonderful things. And they actually help. And this, I said this yesterday, I think, or yesterday and Friday. They actually help your, if you have to take an antibiotic, they help it. Not only that you don't develop resistance to it, but you won't get leaky gut either, because that's the problem with antibiotics. Remember what I showed you the other day? Carpet bombing. Okay? I got these little carpets here. I'm going to show you again. Okay? I cut out these little pieces of carpet. I love illustrations. Now, for my friends, okay, that are listening on a podcast, you know the old shag carpet? Well, I'm showing a piece of it here. That's really what your gut should look like, okay? Your small intestine has a villi. These are microvilli, okay? Think of the shag carpet. This is what helps to absorb your food. This is what helps you to develop a very, very good immune system. Remember, 80% of your immune system is in your gut. And because we don't see it, we don't talk about this enough. But when you take an antibiotic, you're killing all your good bacteria in here, unless you're using a probiotic too. And what they're finding about autoimmune, hello, are you listening? Now I'm going to show you the other carpet. Okay, normal, abnormal. See how flat? Okay, I love illustrations. See the flat piece of carpet? Where's those microvilli now? They've been damaged. Where's the bacteria? Damaged. Leaky gut. Looks like that. That's normal. Okay? Shag carpet, normal. Got it? So, why did I talk about that? Because they're showing antidepressants. They seem to work almost like an antibiotic. They damage your microvilli. We know leaky gut, leaky brain. And now you're getting a double whammo. And again, folks, please, okay, understand where I'm coming from. Am I telling people not to take an antidepressant? No, I don't do that. Okay? I'm just telling you bad news research coming out and saying, there's major side effects to antidepressants, and one of them is now you're more susceptible to resist antibiotics. That is a very significant finding. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so don't come at me and say, well, Dr. Martin don't like antibiotics. I always try and balance the situation. And even with antidepressants. Now, the more and more research they do, you guys know this, but the world out there doesn't. But, the research now is really, really incredible. And, the antidepressant, SSRI, whole premise has been debunked. Last summer, the summer of 22, I call it. It was a hard summer on antidepressants. Because they said, this stuff has been fudged. The research is not good. It's not, but again, like I said, I'm not optimistic that that's going to get down to the general population. Is that going to make people have less prescriptions for antidepressants? And what they're finding, leaky gut, leaky brain. With depression, if you can clean up their diet, if they would just become, and I used to do this in my office all the time. But I couldn't go home with them. But I would show them a protocol, a plan to succeed in diminishing depression. The first thing was clean up your diet. Get off sugar. Get off those seed oils. Fix your gut. You got leaky gut, fix it. You're low in B12, fix that. You're low in vitamin D, fix that. I was big on brain health. Big on it. And, antidepressants, a lot of side effects to it. It's not all good news, let me tell you that. Okay. Now, there's another one. Where's the third one there that I wanted to... Oh, yes, here we go. Bad news, okay? Third one, bad news, more bad news on omega-6. Linoleic acid, more bad news. Now again, okay? Teaching, listen. You got good oil, you got bad oil. Okay? Omega-6s, linoleic acid, okay? Primarily seed oils. And boy, they're smart. Food companies are unbelievable marketing geniuses. They have people convinced that when you have a monounsaturated fat, Dr. Martin, it's not saturated. Saturated fat is terrible. Butter? That's got to clog up your arteries, doesn't it? And cheese? That's fat, isn't it? Look at the fat. So they got these oils. And they're omega-6. Omega must be good. No, not so much. Omega-3, yep. And some omega-6s in the plants and whatever, it's not the end of the world. The problem is, we have a whole industry, the fast food industry. They use linoleic acid. They cook their food in it. That's how you get French fries. That's how you get chicken. And that's how you get this. And that's how you get that. And what have they done? The explosion. And here's what it says. Okay? Bad news for omega-6. Linoleic acid. You get 3 things, they said. Okay? 3 things. Now, we already knew about one of them, specifically. Inflammation. Okay? And I've been telling you this for a long, long time. When you get omega-6 up here, compared to omega-3 down here, you got trouble. Why? You create an inflammation response. And inflammation's not Houdini. Inflammation, silent. You don't know it. Unless you're taking a C-reactive protein test, you wouldn't even know it for most part. But here's what they're saying. Why is it creating so much obesity and diabetes? I call it diabesity. Okay? I call it the twin towers of disease. Diabesity. Obesity, okay? Diabetes. Inflammation. Okay, we know that. That's well established. But what we didn't know, that's a new study, and this is what bad news is for omega-6. It says this: when you consume seed oil, you're messing up your leptin ghrelin. What's that mean? These oils, these bad oils, yes, they create inflammation, but you know what they do? They also mess up your leptin. They make your cells leptin resistant. What does that mean? You're hungry all the time. You're hungry all the time. So, when you use good oils, butter is a tremendous oil. You see that fat around the meat, steak? Eat it. It's saturated. What? Dr. Martin, that's got a lot of calories. I know, but calories don't count. Who cares about calories? Care about inflammation. Care about leptin. Okay? Care about leptin. You want your leptin to work. That's one of the things that I talk about when you do the reset. Right? When you do the reset, you're fixing insulin resistance. Whoopee! 2, you're fixing leptin resistance. Okay? Because your cells are saying to leptin, get out of here, and you're starving all the time. Now your cells become sensitive. Don't you want to have sensitive cells? You want to be sensitive. You don't want to be insulin resistant. That makes you mad. Remember the pesky neighbor? Ooh, that's what your cells. Insulin resistance is cells are mad. Because you're using too much insulin all the time. And they can't stand it. But to become sensitive to insulin, well, you don't need a lot of insulin. Your cells are happy. And they become leptin sensitive. That means you're not near as hungry. They're happy. Got it? Bad news on omega-6, guys. And that's why for 30 days you won't even go near a seed oil. Believe you me when I tell you that. You get rid of all that garbage. Those are bad oils. The vicious 8, whatever. There's a number there. I think it's 7 or 8 oils I talk about all the time. And God's gift, Canada's gift to humanity. Ooh, not good. We developed canola oil for you. Terrible. High omega-6. Not good. It's good for your car, though. You got a car? You can use that oil. It's synthetic. That's for your car, guys. Okay? That's for your car. Not for you. Okay. Did you have fun today? I did. Okay. Okay, guys. We got a great week. Today was bad news. We'll give you some good news this week. Okay? I promise. Okay, guys. Love you. Talk to you soon.